My name is Chandler Boyce, and this is one of our good friends, Noah Herrin, and we're excited to have you, and thanks for coming down. And we're going to talk about some social media, and we're going to kind of try to hit some basics and some practical stuff. And social media is what I'm finding is a little tough because everyone's like, depending on where you are and what your role is and whatever, it's kind of all over the place. And so we do want to get practical as far as like just some algorithm stuff, research stuff, like some of that stuff you may know. We're not like we won't spend too much time. And then we do want to talk about just some strategies, ways that you can implement it in your church, in your youth ministry, for you personally. I mean, we were going to have Mekon be here too, but obviously that didn't work out.
So you guys are the bravest people at conference, straight up. Like, you guys came to this anyways after last night.
Yeah. I'm not gonna lie. I was like,
I'm so proud.
When I walked in, I was like, oh God, thank you. Like, there's not like, like three, like 16-year-olds in the front were like, okay, we're ready. I'm like, I don't Snapchat, so good luck. Don't know what that's about. So it's like the only thing I don't do. I do. I'm not by any means a professional. I would say if you ask some of my team, I'm pretty obsessed with social media. Like, I read blogs and like I'm sending blogs and stuff to some of our students. So I feel like I don't have tens of thousands of followers. He does. That's why he's up here. But I feel like I understand the backside, the mindset, and I feel like I know enough to communicate it, and so, but no means a professional. I don't have like a master class on it, but I think we can talk about some things that'll help you, and I think he can talk about some things that can help you. And then I want to just kind of talk about this is how many of you, like within social media for you personally, like when you wake up in the morning, which you shouldn't do this, but most of you do this, like you wake up, first thing you hit, right? Like, it's like should be the Bible app, but you're like, and Facebook, right? Like, and notifications. How many of you would say, let's see, how many of you say like Twitter is the first one you hit? Okay. I love Twitter, by the way. It's a free-for-all out there, y'all. You can do whatever you want on Twitter.
Nobody's safe.
Yeah, it's just, I love it. Like, getting Twitter fights, make fun of people, subtweet. I love it.
The memes are everywhere on Twitter.
I still miss Vine.
Yeah.
Okay. How many of you would say Instagram's the first thing you go to? Okay. Then Facebook. Okay. Snapchat. Okay. What am I missing? Google Plus. LinkedIn.
What was that one
Pinterest?
That was big for like
I love
2
Pinterest,
days?
by the way.
Everybody was posting like Vero. Was it called Vero? It was big for 2 days. We were all on it.
Yeah.
We deleted it really fast.
I got a few of those, and I'm like, well, what is this?
Just in case it gets used.
You never know. Yeah. We also do this. We have a just through this because we want to answer your questions. So if you do have questions, they're putting let's see if it's on there. So if that's okay. If you'll sorry, if you'll text QA18 to that number, it'll come to my phone. So as we're kind of talking through stuff, if you do have a question or if you have just a general question, I want to personalize this a little bit, so we don't just like talk over or under your head. Just good to see where you guys are at. But here's I'll kind of preset this and then we'll jump in. Here's the reality is that not every student or person is coming to your church. Will come to your church. It's trying to even reach people and reach students, reach whatever area of ministry and life you're trying to do. You're not going to be able to reach everyone. They're not always in your church, specifically youth ministry. Every student is not coming to every small group every week, every service that you have. But the reality is that every student, almost like, I don't know how the number, but almost everyone has a phone. Yeah. And they're on social media. So the question is, how do we invade this with the message that we have? And I think, especially as Christians, it's for me, it's do you fight it or do you use it? And yeah, there are challenges with this, but that's also what happened with TV. And as Christians, I would say there were some moments when first TV got started, they missed owning it because they feared it and they were like, no, it's bad. So the reality is that I do believe in it, and I think that there's ways, and I think there's even ways that we could do it better. And I think that's what I love about social media. No one's mastered it. It's constantly changing. Every time someone's like, "That's awesome," there's something new, and you're like, or Facebook's like, we're gonna change everything, and you're like, crap, I just figured this one out. So the reality is that every student, every leader has a phone, and most of them have social media for the most part. And I think that we've got to figure out ways to use it to get the messages to them and to be effective, and I think you can really engage people with social media. And so that's kind of my theory and my passion, even for me personally, is I've just said, hey, I have a vision for my social media and how I want to present it to people, because I don't want people to think I'm fake, but I want to encourage people. I want to see, I want people to know that I'm funny and I'm me, but I also don't want people, to think I'm like some everything is perfect and nothing goes wrong in my life either. So even for me personally, I have that's kind of my vision. But why don't you kind of just tell them about yourself, and then just kind of give them a little context of what's going on in your world.
Yeah, so I went to a college called Lee University in Cleveland, Tennessee. And I studied for 4 years, digital media, and my last semester of college, I felt like God was calling me into ministry. So I changed my major to pastoral ministries the first week of my last semester of college.
Smart
And
move.
I was so excited because my dad is a pastor, and so I called my dad. I'm like, Dad, guess what? My dad's like, what? I was like, I'm gonna be a pastor, right? And he's like, oh, that's awesome. I was like, yeah, I just changed my major. He's like, you did what? He's like, go change it back. So I actually graduated with a degree in digital media, and now I'm in full-time ministry. I lead a young adult group in Cleveland, Tennessee called The Gathering. And social media, like kind of talking about what Chandler just hit on, like we use it, we don't let it use us. And we've created so much momentum through social media at our young adult group that I can't imagine us not using it as a tool at this stage, because we've had so many people come through our doors because of our social media. Like the majority of the people that visit, I mean, we're in Cleveland, Tennessee, y'all. Like this is a little tiny town, and we've got new people coming in every week. Hey, we saw you guys on Twitter. We saw you guys on Instagram. We saw the podcast get shared on Facebook. And so it's such an incredible tool. We just have to remember that it's a tool for us to influence people. It's not a tool for us to try to impress people with. Because the generation that we are reaching through social media, the thing that they crave, this as leaders, is authenticity. And so if we're not being authentic in our social media, they're not even going to give us a chance to be authentic in our ministries. So we need to be authentic first, and I believe God will bless that, and God can use our social media for the kingdom. So pretty passionate about it. Excited to talk about it. Chandler is hilarious, so it's going to be a challenge for me to keep up with him.
One thing I want to get, because since there's only a few people that actually like Twitter, because if I'm honest, Twitter's frustrating because I feel like I haven't gained a follower in 12 years. It's just, I'm like, where is, the only people that I get follows from is the people that follow 97,000 people. You're like, yes, new follower. And then they're following 100,000 people. You're like, what are you doing? But you had a conversation with Grant about it, and he was like, yeah, man, Twitter, because Grant and I have been having this conversation. How do you break it? I don't know. I don't know. This might, okay, if this sounds at all we're just trying to get followers, we are, but I promise you it's for the good, it's for the right reasons. I'm not I don't know, just please don't I don't know how, it's gonna sound whatever, but I want more followers, so whatever. So do you, you're here, so there we go. We're all, we can all and whatever. But Grant and I have been having this frustration. How do we do it? How do you interact? How does this viral thing happen? And I think Grant, you got to have a conversation. He was just basically like, man, Twitter's so tough. And you were just
Twitter's the easiest. It's the easiest one. It really is to grow because Twitter has the retweet button. And the retweet button is so powerful because, this, super breaking it down for you, but it shares what someone has said with all of your followers. So if you tweet something that's worth sharing, it's not just your followers that are going to see it, but a bunch of other people's followers too. So I was talking to Grant because a lot of us, I'm very ADD, like I'm all over the place. And so when I first started out on Twitter and I was trying to use my Twitter to reach people for Jesus, I would tweet like this inspirational like Stephen Furtick quote, right? And then an hour later, I would tweet a selfie with me and my dog. And then like 3 hours later, I would tweet something about the Braves game, and it was just like so scattered. And you can still reach people for Jesus that way, but you're going to reach more people faster the more focused you can be through your social media. So there's kind of like this formula that we use at the gathering, and it's like if we can narrow the focus and we can be consistent with that narrowed focus, our growth is going to speed up so much faster. And we're using growth because it's tangible on social media, but a lot of growth you can't measure in followers. Right? Like people that might not follow us, but they keep seeing our stuff on social media. And it's like, you know what? I am free tonight. I know that the gathering is tonight at 9:00 because they're blowing up my page. I'm just going to show up and see what it looks like. And they never followed us, but we grew because of that. Someone else heard the gospel because of that. So Twitter, I always tell people, like if you're trying to reach people, share your thoughts. Like you guys are preparing messages every week, a lot of you, put it on Twitter. That's how, like my personal Twitter page, it grew on accident. I had like 200 followers, I think, about a year and a half ago. And I was writing.
He has almost 25,000 followers right now. So.
And I was writing these messages every week to share with our community. And I was spending all this time, but I wasn't sharing it on Twitter at all. And so one day I was just like, you know what, maybe this will encourage somebody. So I just took like a one-liner from my message and posted it out there. And like some people interacted with it. They're like, this is so encouraging. Thank you so much. So I started doing it every week. And the next thing I know, like all these followers are coming in and people are just looking for genuine encouragement. People are looking for someone to pour into their life. And people are on social media. Like we can't just ignore the fact that social media is a mission field. It really is. Like our young people are spending on average right now, this isn't even young people, on average in America, the average person spends 3.5 hours on social media a day. That includes your grandparents who just use Facebook to like send you a message for like 5 minutes. Their 5 minutes is factored into that average. The average millennial uses it 5 hours a day. So if we're called to be where people are and to reach people where they're at, they're on social media. We have to be more effective in how we do it. So getting back to Twitter, everything's shareable. Get your team to share stuff. Their followers will see it. Your followers will see it. Twitter's the move.
All right. So anyways, I just want to hit on the Twitter because they got me. And I will say on a stat, some studies that I read, studies will say with Instagram and Facebook, it's quality over quantity, and really just try to do one good one a day, one good post, good photo, and we'll kind of talk through some of the content. With Twitter, they say like, and you might have read some of the stuff, like you can up to like 17 tweets and retweets a day to keep it. Now, I think the biggest thing you were saying is consistency, but they were like, literally it's like one, Facebook 1, Instagram 1, Twitter up to 17 times. I'm like, dear God, that's a lot of tweets. Yeah. But I want to say that just to know that Twitter is like the focus thing is important, and then just you got to keep consistent, and you just got to be consistent with it.
Can I say one thing on Twitter? So, most of you came in this room and you're like, who the heck is Noah Herrin, right? Like, you're like, who is this guy? And if I said Stephen Furtick, everyone in this room would be like, I know who Stephen Furtick is. But this is just a testament to how powerful social media is. You can see insights on Twitter, how many people see your tweets. And on average, right now, Stephen Furtick and me are getting the same amount of eyes on our tweet. And it's not because my message is greater than Stephen Furtick's or I'm a better it's just because I've invested time into learning how to use it, and I started before. You can do the same thing. You can reach the same amount of people it's so powerful. I just want you to see that before we go anywhere. Like, there's so many people that need to see the message of Jesus, and so many people can see it if you just use it strategically. So
that's so good. And by the way, I don't know if you guys know about the screen time on your iPhones. You should check that. It's kind of scary. That'll give you an eye.
Can I read what yours says?
Oh, Jesus. If
6 hours and 30 minutes a day.
The last 7 days, I've spent 12 hours on Instagram, 12 hours on messages. Oh, Jesus, man. Help me. Anyways, okay.
You're in that.
Total pickups, 1,000. Oh my God, it's so bad. I haven't looked at it in a while, sorry. So let's do this. I think I'm trying to think if we want to go through, let me say this. Would you rather, a couple ways we can kind of go through maybe Instagram, Facebook, do some basic, just kind of how-tos. And then I do want to talk about building a team around social media. Because what I've realized that if you really want to be effective, one person just can't do it. Because it's too complicated, because it involves creativity, it involves copy, language, graphics, video, analytics, admin. One person is unless you're one of those freak drive creative people. Some of you are in here. I can't do that. But it does take a team, and you can build a huge team around it. And I think with student ministry in church, I think people want to be involved, and there's ways to create parameters and looks, and create a lookbook, and basically the language that you take some time to do that stuff. So I'm trying to think. What do you want to start with the foundations?
Start with the team, I think, first.
Okay,
that's important.
And this actually won't take too long, and then I want to hear kind of what your thoughts. Here's what I realized is that we, because we do have camp and conference and we want to utilize it, we were trying to figure out, how do we do this effectively? How do we whatever? And so, I started reading and stuff, and I realized that you just have to, you have to have a team. So here's how we kind of break it out. This is not we didn't come up with this, so don't whatever, don't I mean, you can give me credit, that'd be great. Let me get that one. All right. By the way, I totally steal memes from people and crop them, and then people think that they're mine. Do you do that? Is that okay?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. So if you see a meme,
you are a meme, honestly.
Okay. So here's what we do. So the first person you need, in my opinion, is someone who is admin strong, someone that can build a schedule out, because building a schedule for social media is a beast. At least that's what we've seen. Having someone that is sitting down, okay, what are we going to say at this time, this day, on the Excel sheet or Hootsuite or Latergram or whatever platform you want to use. We use Hootsuite. We like it. It's free up to 5 accounts.
Hootsuite posts for you. If you haven't heard of these things, they're different programs or websites that you can come in one day a week and enter all the content that you want to be posted throughout the week. You can set the time that it's going to post. That way you're not always having to be on your phone. You're not always having to post when you want it to post, or if you're busy and you're going to be in a meeting, but it's a good time to post, it'll post for you. So good website to check out. Thank you.
Yeah, I forget about that. But yeah, so you have someone that's basically an admin that can get everyone together. So so then we have that person, and then we have our content creator. So we have the people that can make graphics, that are choosing the pictures. We say content creator or content curator. So someone that just knows your look, what they're looking for, so to pick the right photos, to pick the right language, all that stuff, making sure that whatever, the vision of your language that you want to do, what you say, how you say, that person, maybe someone for that person, all I can do is look at their social media. Is there someone in your student ministry that you're their social media is awesome? There you go. That's the person you need. Find someone that you like their social media, and that's what I did with some of the team that runs ours. I just was, hey, what students have awesome social media? Let's teach them how to do it and how to turn it around and let them be creative with it. So we have a content curator, content creator, and you can have a couple of those people that kind of meet together, come up creatively with the posts and all the weird graphic stuff and the 12 apps that they use. I don't know. They have so many apps I can't keep up. I just tell them to send lists. And then we have a community manager. So I like this stuff. So every time someone posts, comments, likes anything, you're getting a like. Hopefully, if you guys have posted about conference, I'm hoping that you've gotten a response from our Youth America Instagram. If you haven't, we will get to you. But we try to share, reply to every comment that we can, because we want to tell people, hey, it means a lot for you to engage with us, and we're not just throwing out stuff and saying, look at us. It's about a relationship. It's about people, because that's what we're in. We're in people, and you have to remember that. So we try to respond. Even me personally, I try to respond. I try to every story I can, because it's about engagement. Because here's the deal: social media is about being social. So many people are just post this. Look at, I'm cool. No, be social with social media.
Yeah.
It's about being social. So have a community manager, and you can have 2 or 3 people that are awesome. Glad you were here. Man, we love you. Praying for you. How can we help you? Answering questions. Being quick to respond in social media. That's a huge thing. And you can spread that up. We have a few people. Basically, everyone on our social media team they can have the responsibility of doing those things. And if there's a question, they can shoot it up. Hootsuite actually allows you to do some of that stuff. That's a whole other thing. Community manager, and then this is kind of the analytics person. That's basically what posts are doing the best engagement. So what's the formula for Instagram? It's there's apps that you can do
for
it for
times of posting.
Yeah, no, for like your engagement. So how many likes to comments to how many days.
Yeah. There's so many different apps you can search for in the App Store that'll show you a bunch of that stuff. Maybe you're sitting here, you're listening to Chandler, and you're like, okay. It's just me. I made the graphics. Cause that was me. That was where I was like a year and a half ago. And so, for you, the team is just as important for you, but it might look a different way. So let me explain what I mean. You guys, have you heard of the algorithm, like social media algorithm? So 2 years ago, there was no algorithm. So say you had 100 people following you on Instagram. You post the photo, all 100 people that follow you on Instagram are gonna see that photo. It was so simple, it was amazing. And then Instagram started getting into ads and all this stuff, and they're like, we're not gonna do that anymore unless you pay for it. So now what happens is you post a photo and not all of your followers are gonna see it. I don't know if you knew that, but the way Instagram works is they have this magic number, okay? So let's say you post a photo, and the first 100 people that see your photo, there's a magic number. Nobody knows what it is. Most people guess it's between 40 and 50. They want 40 or 50 of those first 100 people to like your photo. And if they do, Instagram gets a ding, and they're like, oh, this is worth seeing. We're gonna share it to all their followers, okay? So if you don't hit that number, Instagram goes, oh, that photo had a horrible edit on it, or that photo is not good content. We're gonna limit the number of people that see it. And so a lot of people don't know this, and so they'll just post a photo at a bad time of day, or they'll post a photo that didn't get a lot of energy, and then they're like, man, I wonder why that didn't get a lot of interaction. Well, it's because you didn't hit that number. And so we've created a team from the beginning. We were like, all right, when we post, we want everybody on our team to know when we're going to post, huge. Because they're going to open their app, they're going to like it, they're going to share it, because it gets us closer to that number. And actually, there's a second number. So let's say you hit the second number, and let's say it's 60. So you get 60 out of the first 100 people to interact with your photo. It doesn't just show it to your followers anymore. It puts it on the Explore page. And that is where you can really be effective for reaching new people, because people are just scrolling through and they don't follow your account, they don't follow your ministry's account, but they're seeing your stuff because you hit the magic number. So your team, it might not be like they're creating content for you, but get a team together that's active on social media and that is going to buy into furthering your advertisement on social media and liking and engaging with your stuff.
And I'll say this, I'm glad you said that. That actually, Grant, when he made the transition, and someone told him that, and so literally he was like, he had staff meeting, he like literally, if you're being paid, if you're on this team, every time we post, you need to like it and comment on it. And then we even went on some other people, and it's on Facebook, you can, because it's a big, it's like our church, so it's like Facebook is pretty important. We invited all of our friends to our church. So we went from literally just from doing some of that stuff right there, liking, commenting, sharing, using what our church is already putting out. If you're on the team, how you can help is doing that, liking it yourself, commenting yourself, turning the notification on, and for each one of those, Instagram, whatever. And we went from literally in a month, went from 1,500 followers for our Church of the Harvest Facebook to I think we're almost up to 4,000 now. Just by that, and we weren't even we weren't sponsoring ads, or we won't get into that stuff, by just literally sharing it to our people's friends and our pages and our stuff like that. So that's huge. But what I want to say about the team thing is that you can build a team around this. So it's like if you've got an usher crew, a parking lot team, whatever, you've got a VIP team, build a social media team. Like use it to build your team. Here's the deal, get students involved because they know in your context, in your area, in your school, they know what their friends like and what they want to see and what they're actually using. Because what I've also learned is that depending on where you are, your students are very different. Every year that our college students come in, I always ask them, hey, what do you go to first? And every year I'm surprised. It's like, these people are Twitter, these people are Instagram, these people are Facebook. I'm like, what? Like you're all, how? It all depends on kind of the area they come from. So get your students involved, get your team involved, let them tell you, hey, this is what we like, this is what they'd want to see, and keep that in context. So we talked through that. I know, and if I'm trying to hit that in between of like maybe you're just starting out and you're just trying to get some basic information. But I also kind of want to talk a little bit up here to kind of pique your guys' interest. Someone asked how many times a day should you post. What I subscribe to, what we're kind of doing is we go for the like for Youth America, we do Facebook, Instagram once a day on the main page. We try to get pictures, no graphics. Graphics, unless you just have to, they just don't do well unless you just need to inform. And then we always try to do a short something that gets people's attention and then a call to action. And then we try to keep what we've read is, I don't know what, we kind of went back and forth, but they basically say between like 5 and 11 hashtags that are relevant to whatever you're posting to get you on the Explorer. And then another little trick with with Instagram, if you'll always include a location and some relevant hashtags. And by location, I don't mean do your church. Do the city that you're in. Do a community, right? So if I want to get found, I just tag Youth America. The only people that are going to find it are the people coming to Youth America. I want people in Oklahoma City to find it. I want people in Edmond. Or like we ran ads and we did like Dallas. Well, because if it gets enough, the algorithm, it might show up in the Dallas location thing. So people see it. So I would encourage you just to always in Instagram have your location and some relevant hashtags down there.
With the number of times you post, I think even more important than that is when you're posting. Because it's like well documented that we use our phones at a higher rate at different times of the day. And so if you want to write this down, there are 2 prime times to post a day across all platforms, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. And I use Eastern time because I live in Tennessee and I'm on Eastern time. So it'll be the same time, but whatever time zone you're in. So for Eastern time, it's between 11 a.m. and 1 p.m. So during lunch break, people are on their phones. Think about your schedule. If you're eating at lunch by yourself, you pull out your phone, you check social media. Everybody's on social media during lunch. So if you posted a photo at 8 a.m. and it's this awesome photo, 8 a.m., people are on their way to work, people are trying to wake up, they're probably not going to see it as much as they would during lunch break. And then the other time, this is the highest traffic time, is between 8 and 10 p.m. at night. So people are turning off, you guys are at home, you're checking stuff before you go to bed. That is the prime time to post. So for us, we post once in both of those time slots every single day. And we don't post more than that. You can post more than that for sure, but we're just hitting those 2. We're being consistent. We're not missing a day. We're planning out our content a week in advance, and we're going for it.
And I want to encourage us, just start doing stuff. And again, my thing is it's better to have quality than quantity. So if you can't pump out something every day that's quality, that's fine. It's better to put stuff out that's a good photo, good picture, a picture of your students, your youth ministry, small groups, whatever, however you want to, serving, your students playing, a game or something funny. Like it's better to have that and do it once every 3 days than just to do a bunch of like really bad graphics. And guys, please, if you can't make graphics or you don't have graphics, go steal them. There's so much stuff out there. Like there's no excuse to have bad graphics anymore. There's so many apps that you can get that will do it for you. And I can send you a list, but just Google, I can tell you the ones that we use, but there's no excuses for bad graphics. But again, I just want to say quality over quantity. So don't feel the pressure to like whatever. Just start doing stuff. Keep it consistent. Think about who your target audience is. Who are you speaking to? Just like if you're communicating from a stage, it's important. Then I also wanted to say, with the timing thing too, play with it. You never know, depending on where you are, what your students are doing. Like, because I noticed, like, I follow a bunch of like meme accounts. They will all literally post the same time. So there'll be a time in the day, and I think it's usually around like 6, that all literally, I'm like, meme. Oh my God, where does my Instagram happen? But because they're all posting at the same time, and so it just kind of depends on where you are as well. But no, that's good. So that's Instagram. What else? Where do you want to go from there?
Yeah, okay. So this is like a strategy that I see a lot of, especially like pastors who are trying to get their like social media clout up. I love that word. That's my favorite word. Clout. That just means like rep.
Hey, that's what the kids are saying. What's the clout level? Like, what does it go to?
It's high.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah, it's high. But those like they'll want to try to get the social media rep up and like get their ministry to, and so what they'll do is they'll like buy followers, or they'll use apps that like give fake followers. First of all, like, it's so easy to see that it's fake. And if we're trying to preach an authentic message and our social media is fake, like, I don't want to be a part of your ministry, like, just honestly. And so resist that urge to like fluff your numbers. Like, just own it. Just own the 10 followers and it'll grow, I promise. But don't do that, and go for that circle of people that are going to share your stuff and they're bought into your vision, and it'll grow organically. But that's just a strategy.
If you have 17,000 followers and you're getting like 50 likes,
and that hurts you in the algorithm too. Like the algorithm we were talking about, you've got all these accounts that register on the algorithm, and none of them are real accounts. And so you're never going to reach real people because your account's bogged down with fake people. So just stay away from that. I like, and follow, unfollow. Please don't do that either. That's also not cool. Whatever. And then I was trying to think of what some other things that were. People want to see your face.
Yep.
So he was talking about not using graphics. You can use graphics, but make that the smallest thing you do. Especially as the leaders of the ministry, people want to interact with you. So sometimes just take the phone out and record something funny. Like, it doesn't all have to be like perfect and polished. Like, our most highly interacted things are just videos of our leaders like messing around. Like, they just see real people. They want to be involved with real people. They see that we joke. They see that we have fun, and they want to be a part of that. We're dealing with young people, and young people aren't impressed with famous people. And when it comes to ministry, they're impressed with real people. And so if we can display that in 10-second Instagram stories, display it. Like, post your hibachi whatever guy flipping the stuff into your mouth and you can't catch it. Like, post that stuff on your social media and tag your youth group. It'll help.
No, that's good. I was going to say something. I lost my train of thought. There's so much. I feel like I want to. It's like everything.
Can do some questions, because I feel like people.
Yeah. I was going to say one thing. Oh, just a couple of strategies. One thing that one of our students that's running our youth ministry we started doing it. A lot of people do this, the Meme Mondays, and that we have photographers that go to our youth ministry and take photos, and they just try to get really bad photos of people, of the students and of the leaders, and then on Monday everyone gets roasted.
That's genius.
So like I preached a couple weeks ago, and like I was on there, and it was hilarious. And then they'll put the other youth pastor, they'll put some of the leaders, some of the students, and that's not bad, but it's hilarious. And then guess what? Every Monday there's 5 or 6 memes on the slide on Instagram, and I get excited. I'm like, yes, Monday. I'm like, oh, they got him. And it's like some crazy photo, and like, it's the best. But here's what he's saying is that, one, you're building a team. You're showing who you are, what your team is, what your church is doing. It's a great way to engage your community, engage your leaders, engage your team, get your students to see that you guys are real, what's going on. It is fun. Highlight the things that you guys do well, and don't just post the back angle shot in the back of the room. You know what I'm talking about, right? You guys get in the back of the room. You got like 40 kids, but if you get back here, it looks like 800. You get the fog machine.
You lower the angle between their heads.
Yeah.
That's the best angle.
The fog machine.
Best angle.
You're like, man, that looks like a huge night, and you're like, no, it wasn't. You're like, oh, okay. Like I've done that before. I'm like, how many students we have last night? It looked like a lot. I'm like, oh, it was a low night. Wow, that was a really good photo.
We lost track.
yeah.
So many.
The
Lord's
if you guys have any
overflowing.
questions, text them in. I haven't got any other ones besides the one that we already answered. So text the QA18 to 97,000, and I'll check the other on this Clearstream. By the way, if you guys don't have a text service, we use one called Clearstream, and it is brilliant. We use it for like all the updating that we're doing right now, but we also do it for like first-time visitors. You can do it for prayer requests. You can do it for like we do growth tracks. We do growth track reminders. It's stinking amazing, and you can have multiple accounts. So I just wanted to. I think it's just something that we've used a lot with that. Let's see if we got any other ones. Did I get anything? Give me something, Noah. Share us your secrets.
Does anyone have any questions? You just want to yell it?
Yeah. What about video? Hold on. Sorry. No. What about video? Go ahead. What about video?
Oh, what about video? Okay, video is great when it's done well. So we all have shorter and shorter attention spans because of social media. Like a lot of times I'll be scrolling through Twitter. I notice I don't even stop to read the long tweets. It's bad. I need to work on it, but it's just how we do. So chances are, if your video doesn't grab someone's attention in those first 3 or 4 seconds, they're not going to watch all 42 seconds. So our rule of thumb is unless the video is really good and it's really well done, we're not going to do video as far as an actual post. So Twitter, Instagram post, we do use stories. So Instagram stories, we are constantly posting videos on that, but we don't.
What is your take on Instagram stories?
Love it.
Well, I mean, like, how many?
How many?
Because for instance, like a conference night, like I had to tell my team, let's not just like make it like when I open up your story and if I can't see the lines, I'm done. I'm like, don't care. Like,
yeah. I think like 5 or 6 a day is like a good area to be around. Like a little more, a little less is fine. But whenever it's those little like dots and they're not lines anymore, that's a good sign you should stop. Yeah.
Anyways, okay, that makes you feel better. I forget what we talked about. Because like for a conference, like there's stuff going on all day, but it's like I don't want to overload. But I will say it's on videos. I think there are also some great video apps, Apple on your phone, that you can make videos from your phone. If you have an iPhone like 8, this shoots 4K, 60 frames a second. Turn it on, and you can buy a phone stand for $20 on Amazon. You can get a lamp from anywhere, and you can record stuff. If you know who, I'm going to say this and don't judge me. There's a guy named Gary Vaynerchuk. He just cusses a lot. So other than that, I swear he's a Christian. He just cusses more than anybody I know. I'm serious. If you watch, anybody watch Gary Vaynerchuk very much? Is he not like one of the most like positive? Okay, just anyways.
He's so smart.
But here's I would argue with this. I know what you're saying, but dude, he puts out not very good videos, but they're so good. Now the content's good. That's the other thing. Is if you got good content, that's great. But what I want to say is videos, especially on Facebook, they're trending up. When you look at the trend of video and moving stuff over photos, the trend's like it's massive. Like if you Google social media trends on ads, like basically if you're gonna run an ad for your church, videos is what is the thing. Is what you need to do, but you have about 5 seconds to get someone's attention. Mm-hmm. So if you got some video and the opening 5 seconds is some like, it's not gonna work. You got 5 seconds. The first 5 seconds better be something like crazy, inspirational, or whatever. Videos too, always make sure you have subtitles on, because 85% of people like you watch your phone without the sound on. If you don't have subtitles, I can't hear what you're saying.
During a breakout session.
Yes, like you're like, dang, I wish I could listen to this. But then no subtitles. So those are some simple things on videos, but videos are good. But I will say, remember, if you have a phone, 60K, you don't need to go buy an $8,000 Canon. If you see, hey, Tori, do you guys have those gimbals back there with you? Please tell me you have a gimbal. Dang it, go grab one. For summer, here's something simple we did is that we didn't have enough cameras to go around summer camp, and we didn't have the budget to go buy 5 $8,000 Canon cameras with an $8,000 lens. Like, not gonna happen. So I was like, well, what are we gonna do? And then I started realizing, these shoot 4K. Well, guess what? Some of your DSLRs can't shoot 4K. and you just paid, a lot of money for them. So we got these little $100 gimbals, and you can get cheaper ones. Like, I don't know, I'll have to show you. And we just use those and recorded video footage, and use those for videos, use those for the stories, and it's awesome.
It's like a movable tripod.
They'll bring it in. But anyways, so I just want to encourage you, wherever you are, low budget, high budget, new, whatever. There's options for you. Even with YouTube, you could start a YouTube channel with just this, a $30 mic, and like a light, and just record yourself. And obviously, content is king. Go ahead, Tyler.
Yeah. How many hashtags do you use, and how do you use hashtags?
On my personal account, I use the max. I use 30 on Instagram. And it's just like, if they give me 30, why would I not? I don't really care if people are like, oh, he uses a lot of hashtags. Well, more people are seeing it, and that was the goal. So I use 30 on our church social media. We use 32, but they're totally different hashtags. They're more so having to do with our area. Trying to get on Instagram stories of Chattanooga or Cleveland, Tennessee, or Lee University, because we know that's where our target demographic is. Whereas like my personal ones are more like trying to get it shared and stuff. So
like if you're in your city, like your football game or a school, and if you got that gimbal, you can bring it up here. Does that make sense? Like targeted. I will say this. I'm gonna just whatever. I did read some stuff that basically they said 30 is the max, but they said 7 to 11 is prime, and they said when you start getting a lot, you actually get penalized, which is weird. They give you that, but then also they will penalize you for doing a lot. And if you use the same ones every time, you get penalized.
You do get penalized if you use, I think the first part's a lie. I think they lied to you. But the second part, I'm just kidding.
No, that's fine. We're just learning. That's what I'm saying. There's so much out there.
No, but you definitely do if you use the same ones every time. So
and your hashtags need to be in the original language, not in the next comment down.
If you don't want it to be like in your caption, just do it in the comments. You can do that now.
No. See, I read that again, that they said if you do it in the comments, it doesn't pick it up.
Man.
But I don't know.
I don't know. I think
you're
they
smarter
lied
than
too.
I am. It's fine.
It's working.
So this is a gimbal. This is a little phone gimbal. You can put your phone in. You can do it both ways. It also comes with a little stand, and you can do the little follow feature, and it does a bunch of stuff that we don't even use. But this is the way we can shoot. It's not working right now, but we can shoot like better videos that aren't like shaky. You know what I mean? So you're not like, "What's up, guys?" Whatever. So I just wanted to show you guys that. And you can literally, they're like $100, but I think you can get them even cheaper than that on Amazon. So those are fun little tool to use. What else? Oh, someone asked, keep social media private for user requests. I'm trying to think if they're talking about for their ministry or for their, I don't.
If you want people to see it, don't put it on private. Personal accounts, put on private if you're worried about people. But for ministry, I don't know why you'd put it on. And private.
I would recommend, even if it's a ministry, to make it a business page.
Yeah,
because you can see the insights.
Something we didn't talk about at all that I think is worth noting. Obviously, there are a ton of negative side effects of social media, but one of the biggest when it comes to student ministry and young adult ministry is that 80% of people under the age of 22 who are addicted to pornography watch it through social media. And so that's something to talk about with your leaders, talk about just in general with how you're going to use it. And if you are using students to run your social media, just be careful because it's on there. It's impossible for those platforms to block all of it. And tons of students have come through our ministry who have been addicted through social media to pornography. So it's just something to look out for.
It's good. What else? Anybody else got any other questions? Yes, ma'am.
How do you incorporate the photography team with social media? They kind of coincide for ministry.
Yeah. I'll just tell you the way we do it. We have like 3 people who rotate doing photos, and then now I've passed on running our ministry social media to someone else, and she's really good at kind of like laying it out and making it look kind of cohesive. What she does is she has a Finsta. Have you heard of that? Like a fake Instagram. And basically, she'll just post. There's no followers on it. It's on private. She'll post what we're going to post and lay it all out so she can see what it looks like on the feed. So all the photos get sent to her, and then she posts on the fake Instagram account, sees how it's all gonna look and match up. And if you wanna check out our Instagram page, this is not a plug, you don't have to follow us, but it's at The Gathering with 2 G's, and you can see it looks phenomenal. And it's just because she put a little extra planning into the design of how it's gonna look. And that's how we do it every week.
That's good. Practically, so what we do is with our photographies, like I think we have probably like 5 or 6 today. What they'll do is they're all taking photos right now. They'll have a time where they dump them. So they'll put the SD cards to one person. That person will upload it. We use an app called SmugMug, and it is the coolest thing ever. And that's how we share graphics, videos, content to our teams, and we can categorize them and stuff, and that's how we get them out to our staff and our students. And then we actually share that with our church. So we use Clearstream once a week. So if you wanted content from our church, you can text the number, and every week we send out the message series, pictures from the weekend, all that stuff. And he's like the whole the filter, like he's got his own like presets, and like he's like super fancy. He's way more creative than that. But if you want to talk about that, you can. I haven't got. Yeah, if you want to.
Yeah, presets are just like filters. So it's basically a filter, and I created some. You can do it. It just makes your feed look more cohesive if you're editing your photos the same way, which might not seem like that big of a deal, but you can notice it even subconsciously. You go to someone's Instagram or a ministry's Instagram, and it's like one photo's a graphic, one photo is like a person's face, like really close up. It just is kind of distracting to the eye, and you're less likely to follow it. So we've put a little more into the design of the Instagram feed, particularly.
Cool. Well, hey, we are out of time, and I want to say this is that please send us. Keep sending questions. He'll respond. So if you do have questions even to him, or me, whatever, DM us. You can also email, if you want to email hello@youthamerica.org. I'd give you mine, but it's like too long, so hello@youthamerica. Either, whatever you want to do. If just contact us, if you have questions. I love this. I know he loves this, and it's one of those things. I'm even, like some of the stuff I said, he's like, I don't know. I'm like, that's what I read on some latergram blog. So it's like, you never know. Like, you kind of have to have these conversations, and but however we can help you, we would love to know that. And but it's time for lunch, y'all. We want to hear from you. So if you have any questions or feedback, hey, make sure and drop in the chat, let us know, or you can always email us at hello@youthamerica.org.